Well, this week we focus on the transit trade in this country, and the American government has applauded Ghana for fighting to ensure smooth trade within the West African sub-region. Let's find out why. As the country strives to recover the almost 50% of air transit business lost to the other competing ports, another alarming threat that has emerged is the frequent incidents of extortion by some members of certain agencies operating on the Ghanaian corridor. These include the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Immigration Service, and most especially the Ghana Police Service. This moved the composition of a team from GPHA, which called on the Inspector General of Police to meet with him and other commissioners of police to urge them to intervene to address the situation and save the transit trade in Ghana, as well as the image of Ghana's police service and the country at large. The IGP expressed dismay about the happenings on the corridor and, together with his commissioners, pledged support to deal with the menace urgently.
We want to look at everybody has a load somewhere. The next thing is customs, the next one is police. What is all this? And nobody is saying anything about it.
The IGP himself has personally engaged in road campaigns randomly and in some cases clandestinely, visiting the transit corridors himself and showing videos of police officers extorting monies from transit drivers and cautioning them to desist from such acts or face the severities of the law themselves. Subsequently, a joint committee was set up by the IGP that comprised the head of the MTTU, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Borderless Alliance, the National Facilitation Committee, and Ghana's Shippers Authority to address the issues of harassment and extortion on the Ghanaian corridor. Indeed, it was subsequently revealed at the committee stages that security agencies on the transit corridors, particularly the police service and Ghana Customs, engage in massive extortion and bribery on the transit corridors of Ghana and the clearance chain of the transit traffic, hence dwindling the transit trade in Ghana. However, in a swift and non-shilly-shally manner, and based on its own video evidences as well as persistent reports, the Ghana Police Service, led by the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan, has directed that with immediate effect, policemen along the economic community of West African states' transit corridors should not conduct any checks on transit cargo and, quote, any police officer or officers found to have gone contrary to this directive will face the full rigors of the law, unquote. The directive 1, generated by customs to government, comes from the port of Tema. It is in line with this that the move by the Ghana Police Service to call their men to order in order to protect the port business and the country's revenue-generating source is commendable and worth emulated by other agencies to grow the port business and make Ghana the gateway to the sub-region. What do you think removing barriers within the sub-region is a good thing that is worth applauding?
Well, you know, the cost of transport and of moving goods in West Africa is one of the highest in the world. And I think the barriers to trade, the road checks, the time and the cost at all those different stops along the route is a key barrier to trade. It makes things more expensive, and therefore that cost gets passed on to the consumer. So anything we can do to reduce the barriers will increase trade, will increase food security, and will increase the well-being of the people in West Africa.
I'm sure that you've worked within the West African sub-region for some time. You know the countries, and you've made a bit of assessment of the system. What have you observed?
Well, I've observed some changes. This year, for example, ECOWAS started the Common External Tariff, which is a step towards regional integration and really a free trade area within ECOWAS. So that means that things like staple foods now can move freely in the region with no tariffs. Yet we see that some countries are still, charging people for things that shouldn't be charged.